Good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome to Keeping It Real Estate with Jim and Dana. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late, but Dana had a settlement that he had to knock out real quick. But we are here, and we have a super important topic today. Today is understanding the realities of real estate in 2021, in the spring of 2021, because who knows what's going to happen down the road. But there are lots of mistakes that people are making, agents, buyers, sellers, misconceptions that we're in literally the Wild West. I know we keep talking about it, but we thought we'd drill down on that a little bit, and we'll try to keep it brief since we're late. But let's start. Dana, what are some things that buyers should know about this market?
Don't hesitate. How about that for number one? Don't.
He who hesitates.
That's right. If you hesitate, it's going to be gone quicker than you can say, I wish I didn't hesitate. That would probably be one of the most important ones. There's a lot of stuff, Jimmy. I mean, we could get into a lot.
Okay, let's start with I'll tell you what, I'll lead you. Dana is I will say this, he gets way more than his disproportionate share of offers accepted in this market, which is a testament to his understanding of the market and his ability to get his clients reeled in and aware of the reality. So that's why I was going to have him talk a little bit more about buyers, but I'll give you some questions. Okay, let's start with this one. If you are qualified for $400,000, should you be looking at houses that are listed for $400,000?
Absolutely not. You need to be looking at houses that are probably around 335 to maybe 350, 360, maybe pushing.
Yeah, right. I've been saying 10%.
Yeah, because you're going to end up at $400,000, especially if you're looking at stuff that's 350, you're going to end up at $400,000 if you want to get into that house. And it's not, it's not 100% across the board, but it's up there. Probably 80% of the time you're going way above list price.
Yeah, and I think the takeaway, you're just setting yourself up for failure if you are starting at a place where you can't go up where you can't change your offer. Yeah, and then you walk in the door. So,
and it's really tough out there because there's not a lot of homes for $200,000, if you're qualified for $200,000, it really means you got to be looking in the 150 to 160, 170. And it's really tough to compete in that market. It's tough right now.
What about closing help, Dana?
No, not getting it. And
okay. So just for the for the newbies out there who have not been through this process, when we talk about closing help, it's about let's say you're doing an FHA loan, you need 3.5% down payment, and then about the same amount, 3.5% to 4% in closing costs, which is prepaid taxes, prepaid insurance, lender origination fees, title insurance, abstract fees, transfer taxes, the whole kit and caboodle. All that stuff totals up to, so on a $400,000 house, you're talking about another, $13,000, $14,000. It's a lot of money.
Right.
And the sellers are allowed, the lenders will not allow the seller to pay the down payment, but they will allow the seller to pay the closing costs. So in different markets, if you were able to scrape up the money for the down payment, we could get you in a house and ask the seller to pay the closing lots of times. So in this market, it is very, 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 very unusual, almost impossible to get the seller to pay closing. Yep. So that means that if you're saving now, you don't have to save your down payment. You have to save your down payment times 2, your down payment plus your closing costs.
Right.
So, and then sometimes even more than that, because, we have all sorts of things with appraisals and so on. So we'll touch on those too.
And even if you wanted to get closing costs, it's really, even if the seller was willing to give you closing costs, or they say, hey, add it to the sales price, you're so far above, because appraisals start to come into factor. Will appraise at that higher price if you wanted to add your closing costs onto your offer, which is just not happening. And to be honest with you, even if you added that onto you would stand out and it wouldn't look good.
Right. So yeah, we're seeing, okay, so let's talk about a little bit about appraisals. So first of all, let me caveat, swing back to the very front of this conversation. When we say it's the Wild West, historically, and this is anecdotally for our team, I've never looked it up for the industry. We know this stat now, but historically, I would say at the end of the year, 1 to 2% of our contracts that we wrote fall apart throughout the year. In a really bad year, it might be 3 or 4%. We are about 10% right now, but the in Arundel County, the weekly average has been anywhere from 25 to 35% for the last, as long as we've been looking at it, for the last couple of months. So that is a huge, huge number. So if you think about that, a third of the deals. That's why Dana and I thought it was really important that we have this talk today, because I think a big reason that these deals are coming back to, on the market is a lack of education from the agents to their buyers and sellers about the realities of this market.
Yep.
So when both parties have unrealistic expectations about what the process is going to look like, bad things happen in 25 to 30%. So you got a 1 in 3 chance when your house goes under contract of having to put it back on the market, which is just crazy. It just illustrates how crazy things are. So
why are they coming back on the market?
Okay, so I'll give you this. Is my I'm on my nope, that's okay. I'll be on my soapbox right now. So buyers agents almost always are including as is in their contracts for inspections. So which is fine, but what happens is they are telling their clients that, look, it's as is, but we kind of really don't, if there's something really wrong, we can still ask the seller, which, the reality, that is the reality right now. So as a listing agent that's doing a lot more listings, I tell all of my sellers, listen, as is going to keep somebody from nickel and diming you. They're not going to ask you for 15 things on the home inspection list. Now they're going to ask you for 3 things, but they're going to ask for something, especially when they make these crazy over ask offers and no closing and waiving appraisals and all the rest of it. So you're going to see that. But I think that listing agents are encouraging their sellers to take contracts because they say as is, and then the sellers get mad when they ask for stuff. The buyers get mad because their agent told them that they could ask for stuff, and then of course they want something back because they just gave up all this money, and then we have a recipe for disaster. So I think that's number one. Number two is all of us on both sides are writing these offers at prices that are unsustainable, that are not supported by comps. And if you have a farm on the Eastern Shore that's unique, there's a good chance that if the appraiser wants to work with you, you could probably find something, because it's not pigeonholed into this little, by the rules. Exactly. It's not there's certain parameters that an appraiser can't really sway from. So if you have a townhouse in Piney Orchard or Crofton and you're $25,000 above the last sale and it's identical, you're gonna have a really, really hard time. And chances are, we're seeing a little bit of it, but it's still pretty unusual for a buyer to be willing to pay anything over the appraised value. So, and of course we see very few cash offers in this market. So the reality is it's going to have to appraise, and it's going to have to appraise fairly close to the sales price for the deal to work. So again, listing agents are taking contracts that have no chance of settling. Buyers agents are writing contracts that have no chance of settling. And so one of the things that Dana and I have been preaching to our sellers especially, but really to our buyers too, is understand that the terms are as important now as the prices, because those terms are what is going to make the deal work oftentimes.
Yep, I agree. Very nicely said, Jimmy.
So I say it all the time. I was actually just on the phone with a new prospective buyer who he's been looking for 9 months. I can't even think about how much money it's cost him, and he was telling me some of the things his agent had told him, and it was gruesome, so gruesomely wrong. So
a lot of it's expectations and setting your people up for for success, not failure. And I think it's a communication. I think it's a big communication problem that we say, for sure.
Right. And just remember, I say this, but it's never been more true. The buyer's agent right now needs to be more knowledgeable than ever. And, it's always a mistake to think that because you're not paying the buyer's agent directly out of your pocket, that it doesn't matter who you pick, but it always matters. But now more than ever, I would say that they have a tougher job than listing agents by a long shot. So do your homework, make sure you hire the right people, us. And you know, but this is it's a big conversation, but I would encourage you, even if you're not talking to us and you're in the market, make sure you have this conversation with your agent and make sure that they are competent and have some intelligent things to say regarding this topic, because every deal that goes by right now, you know, the next one that comes on the market is going to be a few bucks more. So, you know, there's high stakes. So, and the last thing you want is to get tied up and spend money and inspections and appraisals and all the rest of it, and then you know, to have been set up for failure by your agent in the front and not be in a position to buy the house. So
Right. I agree.
So, all right. Well, I think we're going to put a bow on it today, but I was just down in Florida, exciting things going on there. Got some traction. Got another couple, I think we got a new listing this week, and we got another house under contract. So things are going well, and was with a buyer all last week down there. So if you're looking, you let us know. Again, if you look at Sarasota, Florida, and just draw like a 60-mile radius, that's pretty much what we're covering. But it's the Gulf Coast. It's beautiful. Come down and see us. Dana, you got anything you want to add?
Nope, just we also cover Anne Arundel County, and we cover
We sure do.
the metropolitan area, Northern Virginia and DC as well. So
you got it. We got you covered.
You don't have to fly all the way to Florida to hire us.
No, that's for sure. And we're having a great year here. Our first quarter was 70% up from last year, and you know, want to thank our agents and staff. It's a testament that we've been getting the repeat business, and people continue to trust and send their friends and family to us. So we value that greatly, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.
All right, see you, everyone. Bye-bye.